Yeah, we were obviously he was committed, and we were just he was on the recruiting trail. And then when he announced his commitment, we saw him. You know, he's from Chicago. Coach Gates and myself are both from Chicago, and so he was terrific. And he wanted to reclassify, and the speed, the athleticism. So it was a great fit. Now, he missed the summer, so he's been getting caught up, but he's been really coachable. He's been, he's uber athletic for us. Like, he really has speed. But I use a Rick Majerus line. He always talked about a race to maturity, and that race to maturity, is getting young guys caught up of situations, all the little thing that goes into the college game that affects and impacts winning. But he comes up, he watches extra film, he gets extra shots. But any novice is going to lay their eyes on him and see that he's different. He's very, very talented, and we're excited to keep having his arrow go up in terms of his development. Jacob Cole is we redshirted him last year, and I believe in it, and he embraced it. We had a complete skill development plan for him, strength plan. He's a lot stronger. If you remember, he had torn his ACL in high school, but he's right tipping at 6'8". He's a wing. He's lefty, but he brings toughness. He plays with tremendous effort, energy, and toughness, and he gives us a big-bodied wing. And but he too is playing his first game. He's a redshirt freshman, but he is a freshman. But I like his toughness. That's the thing when you ask me about Jacob Cole. I think toughness and energy. Yeah, everything is my take is retention. Like, retention is so big in not just basketball, but a lot of the sports in college, and that's been a challenge in the NIL era and the transfer portal era. Having Jalen Moore and Sam Godwin come back, unanimously people would, on the team, out team, those were two of our probably toughest guys. Him and Rivaldo Soares were our toughest guys, and it was great to have those guys. The loyalty, the vision that they have, and they just attacked the summer getting better. And it helped because what retention does for you is the new guys come in the program, and when you can especially have more than two. My vision of where Oklahoma basketball is going to get is that there's like 8 or 9 coming back. And those 8 or 9 are telling the new guys, this is how we do things. This is how hard we go. This is our standards. And, Jalen and Sam have been doing that. But, that retention of those two was key for us because they're our toughest guys. They're both athletic going into the SEC. They're older, and we're going to need that going into the SEC. Yeah, to get new guys ready in this era in these conferences like the Big 12 and the SEC, one is definitely the physicality because we're in our last year of fifth-year seniors. So there's a lot of old guys in college basketball. And so think about that. There's a lot of fifth-year seniors out there, and Jeremiah really reclassified, should be a senior in high school. That's a big age difference. So it's getting to understand the bumps, the physicality, the playing through contact, not worrying about an official a call or not getting called. You got to play through contact, and the speed and athleticism and the power of the Big 12 SEC type athletes. People ask me what it's like to be in the SEC. I'm so excited to have a home. You know, the last 3 years I've gone to meetings, I've gone to different things with me knowing that everyone in the room knew Oklahoma wasn't going to be in the SEC. Felt great at the meetings, felt great at the media day. We got a home, and an elite home at that. You know, I told somebody at media day I must be the good luck charm, because there was 9 teams in the preseason top 25 in men's basketball. I think that's what it's been like the last couple years in the Big 12, and now the SEC has 9. So to get young guys ready for that, it's got to be a physical summer. It's got to be in the weight room, and it has been. It's got to be, but it's mentally ready for the physicality and the speed of this level with older guys. Well, there's some things we're going to play differently. You know, not super different, but we're really going to we recruited some shooters. We're really trying to utilize the three-point shot. I know we're playing with pace and space, so we're doing some things that we do differently there. But in terms of the training, you know, Ty Terrell's in addition to our strength program. Bryce Dobb took the head strength coach job at the Charlotte Hornets, and Ty's been a terrific addition. Comes with NBA experience. So we've really been on the nutrition side and the strength program with our guys. I think, you know, Sam Godwin, for instance, is close to 15 pounds heavier of muscle. So I think all our guys are improved that way. But what I did this summer, you know, I was pissed off this summer. You know, it was the hardest day of that Sunday was one of the hardest days of my professional career. We've all had days personally that are way harder than the big scope of that. But to go through that Sunday when we felt unequivocally we were in and had the year we had over 20 wins in the best conference in the country, not get in. So this summer was the summer of what could we do better? Where are those final inches of every close game? I watched every single close game and reevaluated them. And I went through everything of what I could have done better this offseason. So I had a summer with a hole in my belly because of what we went through to get where we were and not get in, and felt like that got taken from us. And we combined guys that have been there with some other guys that had the same feeling I did. Jalen Moore and Sam will talk with the same kind of passion of that Sunday of not getting in as I do. And so, yeah, it was a summer of evaluating everything, trying to get better at everything. Obviously, the recruiting, the portal is in the NIL era is like nothing you can imagine to other people that aren't in it, like coaches are in it. It's hard to explain unless you're a coach that in it every single day what that pressure feels like in the NIL. So so that was something we in the off season. But back to I get going talking about a handful of things about my off season. But back to the self-evaluation, team evaluation. Yeah, I watched every single coach game a couple times, and we actually were 5-2, and I think games of a couple possessions. But I look back at that Texas Tech game, the Houston game. You know, the end of the halves. I could tell you every play at the end of the half what we can do better. We've practiced end of halves already, and so everything's about getting better. Well, this will be a great quote, not just coach speaks, so I'll just give you something. The truth of the matter is bigs and point guards are at a premium in NIL. I mean, when behind the scenes, to get the best of the best bigs, it's been well documented with some of these, what they went for in the portal. We felt we had Sam, who was just terrific for us. He fit everything we're about. He's from Oklahoma. He's tough. Luke is a different kind of a big with his stretching ability. And then we got Mo Waggy, who, in my opinion, he's been in a lot, played for Coach Huggins, played for Nate Oates, played for a Final Four team. He fought through a stress fracture in his foot the second half of the season. He had surgery, so I know we went with him because he had surgery. We were able to get him. But his age and experience and length gave us something that we thought was a little different in our bigs. And I think some people were shied away because the foot injury in the portal. We had visioned of what we felt we could bring him in with, and got him healthy, and he's healthy. He's been practicing, and we're excited him to join those bigs. And also, we're not afraid to play small ball. Jalen Moore plays bigger than he is. So Jalen's an option. We did that a handful of times last year, playing small ball with five out, with Jalen being the so-called 5, but he's like a 4. So we feel like we got some options. I think that's a good question. It was, we said last year at this time we recruited to more athleticism. We were. I thought we were in a position. I could go on another tangent about not getting in again, but I felt like we did a lot of good things, beat a lot of ranked teams. You look at the wins we had in the non-conference. So this year, I think it's going to be such a grit and burn in the belly. I think it's going to be a gritty team. I think it's going to be a team that, like I said, it combined guys that were crushed on Selection Sunday. Because we had some portal guys that were crushed too. Glenn Taylor at St. John's was one of the first 4 out. Duke Miles won his league, but then didn't win the conference tournament. They had a phenomenal year, won 27 or some games and didn't get in. Then you guys got like Jadon Jones, who won his tournament and got in. Kobe Elvis got in. Mo Wagee got in. Bryce Godine's been in. So I thought we have a combination of guys that have been there and a combination of guys that are hurt, that are playing hurt, that are playing with that fire in their belly. I think we're going to be able to shoot it better. We got to hang our hat on creating offense with our defense. I've said that a lot. It's been a lot with us. And I think we're going to be deeper. I said this morning with Toby on the radio that I don't know my 8-man rotation. And sometimes you look at it like, I know my 8-man rotation because 9, 10, 11, and 12 can't play. That's the facts. Sometimes I don't know that because I feel right now comfortable going into 10 and 11. Now, it's hard to do that, but I think we're deeper. I think we're going to go deeper in the bench with some experience because we're older. We have some older guys coming off the bench. Sometimes you get 4 or 5 freshmen, but we have some good freshmen, but we got some older guys as well. Yeah, he went through the process, and I'm sure he'll talk to you about it. But he went through the process, and it was great for him to experience the process. And I was 100% behind him going through the process. Communicated with him the whole step of the way. Actually went down and watched him, through the process, and he just got a great, clear picture. He was true to his word. His mother, Walida, just such a solid, unbelievable person. And everything they said was they were so pleased with how much he got better off the floor and on the floor. And he said from the very beginning, I'm going through this process. And we both told him, if the process leads to you going to stay in it and get drafted, I'm going to be the biggest guy to give you a hug. But if not, obviously we want and need you back. And he said hey, that's my plan. I'm coming back if I don't get the nod that I'm going to get drafted. He stayed true to everything he said. And he's an unbelievable young man, and I think he's going to do great things for us, not only at Oklahoma, but even beyond that, because of his foundation of character.
Yeah, Porter, you mentioned you got older, specifically with those guards you had, Duke and Jadon, Kobe, Bryce, and all those guys are older players. Just first off, how those older guys are fitting in, how that is all kind of going, but then what it does for you to have veteran guys like that added to the backcourt.
Yeah. We added a bunch of veteran guys combined with 2 young freshmen, Dayton Forsyth and Jeremiah Fears, to go along. But the challenge is this. I think we got a great blend of some older guys, and we got 2 terrific young freshmen. But the challenge is this. None of our guards have played here before. Getting them in the system, because guard play is key. And so getting them playing together, playing here, in our system, that's a challenge with our guard play because all the guards are new. All the guards are new. And that's that retention. You know, you start a couple freshmen for 2 years, and then they're not, you're hoping they're there for your junior and senior year. And that's the hand you're dealt, and then you're moving forward. And but I really like our guards. It's just they're new, and they're learning the system just like any newcomer would. But they are experienced. We have a couple guys that are played in their 5th year, and that's a benefit, that experience.
Coach, you talked about the toughness of Jay. When did you first realize just how tough of a player he was and what he could be?
Well, when we recruited him out of Georgia Tech, you know, he was, I think he averaged 4 points a game, but his length and athleticism, we were really recruiting to athleticism. And when you got to know him in the recruiting process, he just had everything about him. He's just such an energy giver. He brings energy every day, and I just really relate with that. And he came in wanting to learn, and I thought he got so much better. You look at his numbers. He went from shooting 17% from 3, making 4, to shooting 41% from 3, making, I think, 28. That's a huge jump. He went from averaging 4, 5, or 6, we're in that area, to averaging 12 in league play. So he works at it. He listens. He wants to learn, but he just so much aligned of what I'm looking for in a young man. Like, he had the athleticism, character, willing to learn, and he's gotten so much better. No one would have thought he's improved his shot the way he did from his year at Georgia Tech to last year.
Go back to Bob and James. Porter, when you first got here, you remember one of the first things you said, you want to grow old together.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah. It's the challenge, Bob. You know, that's how you build it, like to retention. And that's the biggest challenge coaches have in all sports, is to where you can have it to where they're not looking elsewhere. And there's a lot of factors with that. It's who you're bringing in, but it's NIL. That's a huge part of retention in all sports right now. And how you want to grow old is you bring them up through the program. And then when they've been there 2 years and new guys are coming in, like, this is how we do things. This is how we act. We value all these important things here at Oklahoma. And that's what happens when you grow old together. And it's been a huge challenge, and we're going to continue to have that be our goal. And I think growing old with Jalen Moore, Sam Godwin, Luke's in his 3rd year, Jacob Cole's come back, to where guys that have stayed have had success, and that's growing old together. And those 2 guys, so glad to have back.
For the defense is always such an important part of you. You thought you were going to have a good defensive team. I think you did have one last year. How about this year's team defensively?
Yeah, going into the if you remember, we were 18-6 and didn't have an injury the whole year. And John Hughley, that 18th win was Oklahoma State at home, and John Hughley tore his meniscus. He was done. The very next game was Baylor, and Rivaldo Soares had a severe ankle brain, and then Javion was in and out with his shoulder. So at that point, at 18-6, we were somewhere in the top 25 defense. We ended up in the high 40s, still out of 350-some teams. But our standard, we want to be in that top 25 in the country defensively. We feel the Big 12 was such a physical league that we want to continue to bring that physicality. But the SEC is unbelievable physical too. I've just been watching tape of Tennessee, Mississippi State, Mississippi. We know Texas is. So I think the SEC the physicality is elite as well. But we've got to be able to guard with the athleticism. And I tell you, the other thing is you got to have great transition defense. The pace and athleticism in the SEC, the athleticism, you've got to slow down that break. We felt we did that 2 years ago when we played Alabama. Slowing down that break. But our transition D has been a key focus for us. But, yeah, that's how we're going to pare the numbers down. I was very transparent with the 11 or 12 that are in the mix right now. That's how we're going to pare it down to the rotation is putting our best defensive team out there as well. Yeah, I think Sam and Jalen, we're good at shot blocking, but I think Mo gives us a bigger, longer presence in there, and so that's one. I tell you, Jaden Jones blocked a number of shots. I think he had over 30 as a guard. He's got long arms, and he really can get deflections. And so I think from a guard standpoint, he's really getting hands on balls, deflections, block shots. But Mo gives us a longer shot blocking presence to go along with Jalen and Sam. That's the race to maturity. His effort's been great, just learning where to be when it's this ball screen coverage, where to be in the shell, and not just Jeremiah, but all young people come in, and sometimes there's habits of, I got my guy. And all of a sudden, we're really, there's 5 guys stopping the ball. There's different schemes. And they might have done it one way at a certain place. They might have had a different terminology someplace. It's getting all on the same page with a lot of things, but it's everything from value in transition defense, getting back on the airtime of the ball, to where the ball sees your numbers, where there's 6 eyes, 6 arms. Everything from when there's an ice ball screen that you're building your eye, to where there's a slot rotation and you know where you're going on the rotations, to boxing out every time, the value of checking off. There's so many little things that newcomers, that they're trying to grasp everything, and then all of a sudden they're thrown with all these little things on defense. Really coming in, watching extra tape. That has impressed me with Jeremiah. A lot of guys come in to watch extra tape on their offensive performance. He's been coming in watching extra tape on his defense, and that is a great sign because he's understanding that, like, I've got to be solid. I can't be that. I got to be solid and get up to speed with what's going on defensively because he's got some serious gifts offensively. We always talk about the EYBL and what you average translates. And some people are always talking about the numbers of, God, man, this guy averaged double figures in EYBL. It's night in and night out against the best high school athletes in the country. Jeremiah was like the leading scorer in EYBL this year. He averaged almost 22, 23 a game. He can really score, and, but again, he reclassified after that. And so just been super impressed how much he's wanting to learn and get better to be ready for this massive jump. Jadon Jones? Yeah. Jadon, he reminds me a lot of Latrey Darthard. Latrey came from Utah Valley where they had a good winning program. And Jadon was like, and Latrell, both were kind of like silent defensive assassins. Like they both were so good on defense. Jadon's a little different. Latrey was so positionally excellent. He was like always in the right spot. Jadon gambles a little more because he's got incredible anticipation. You're going to see him get his hands on deflections and steals. He leads us from the summer. He gets his hands on a lot of balls. He jump passing lanes. He's got long arms, so he causes havoc, and we're trying to combine that with being great positionally, and then he can really shoot it. He can really shoot it, and he gives you that guy that can really guard, and then he's a threat on offense. He hits 77 threes for an NCAA tournament team. 77 threes is a lot of threes. Bryson Gadeen made 77 threes last year. That's 2 guys in the older guys that made a 77 in college, but I don't care what level you're at, that's a lot of threes. So we need that. We need that, and we covet that.
Coach, you talked about point guards and big going at premium in NIL. How does that change your mindset when trying to construct a team at all? Are you looking, well, maybe if it's something else, we can't get these players, or what? When you go into that process, how does that constructing a team knowing that, how does that change it?
Well, point guard is one of your positions that you wish you grow old with. I mean, it is because you're such a. It's like your quarterback. It's your extension of you on the field, on the court, and so I think we brought in some young guys, and you want to grow old with them. There's a lot of factors growing old with them, like I already said, in this day and age that wasn't here 3-4 years ago, but you got to embrace it, and you know, sometimes embracing that's out of the coach's control. And that's a factor. But I do think that those point guard positions, you know, we got some experienced guys that have won, some winners, and we got two really good freshmen that I really like.
We have time for just a couple more questions, so we're going to end this meeting and then Jesse.
Porter, I think we talked about it a little bit on the radio today, Jeff, his injury.
Yeah.
How's he doing? And also, where are you at otherwise, health-wise, kind of getting here towards the start?
Yeah, Jeff Wanko, what a story he was. I mean, from Oklahoma, started at Tulane to play Division I football, pivoted and said, I want basketball, goes to junior college to earn his stripes, becomes All-American, came in, and literally everybody will tell you the first 2 weeks he was probably our leading scorer and our best defender. And then he had the tragic Achilles tear, tore his Achilles. Just as attacked his rehab as diligently as anybody I've seen with an injury, you know, and, you know, he's 15 weeks out of surgery. So we'll wait and see. You know, he's been probably cleared to start practicing sometime around December, and we'll see. But his attitude's been great. He was terrific. And it's one of those, we'll wait and see how he continues when he goes live. But he's as diligent as you could ever see a young man with an injury, how he done his rehab. It's always you want to knock on wood with that. You know, 18-6, we were great. We had no injuries, and all of a sudden we had 3. Right now, just normal bumps and bruises. No one that's out with anything. We watch Bryson Gadeen a lot, you know, with his minutes. We watch Mo with his minutes. With both of them had off-season surgeries, so we watch them. But other than that, we've been healthy.
Before you talk about Carolina, I also just want to ask about Dayton Forsyth, his transition from Dale to here. What has stood out to you about the offseason?
What stood out about with Dayton Forsyth coming in right out of the gate was just his mentality of just toughness, unafraid, chip on his shoulder, smart, tough, winner. All those check marks, he's come in. And it's the day in and day out of playing against longer athletes. It always takes people getting used to. And that's but sometimes people are shell-shocked when they see all of a sudden they get to this level and they're playing against guys 5 years older than them. That's not been Dayton. Dayton is, I think people are going to like him because he's physically tough. He can knock down shots. He makes winning plays. All of a sudden, you make a play like, oh, what a smart pass that was. You know, I've said that a lot watching the tape and on practice. And so really, really excited. I think Oklahoma fans are excited to have him here and to see his growth because people are going to relate with it. People from Oklahoma are going to relate with him because he's just tough. He's tough, gritty, and just what you want to be about.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, everyone.
All right. You got it, man.